Good morning and welcome to our community meditation. And good morning to those who are watching online today. Thank you for all being here as we connect in consciousness. My name is Debbie Little. I'm a practitioner here at Center for Spiritual Living, Greater Las Vegas. I'm going to take a moment, if you have a cell phone, to silence it, please, so we can have an uninterrupted experience together. And this meditation is a mixture of spoken word, silence, and beautiful music. And the title of my meditation today is The Landscape of Love. So I want everybody to just settle into this moment, close your eyes if that feels comfortable, or just relax in your seat and just take this time just to be in this moment right here and right now. And let everything else just kind of fade away and be present right here and right now. So we take a breath in and we take a breath out. Just breathing into this moment, that first breath, feeling that aliveness within each one of us. That feeling of energy, vitality, and of celebration, of being together in this moment. So there are different landscapes in our life, different types of places that we go in our minds, in our life. And sometimes they're rough, they're challenges, they're doubts and fears. And sometimes there's a landscape where we decide, I don't want anyone else to really know who I am. I want to be seen as this powerful, self-confident person. I want to feel like I have all these leadership skills. And I am demonstrated that I am committed to this community, to this life. And this is the public self, the one sometimes I struggle to hold on to keep up. There's that self that sometimes doesn't want to be revealed. It wants to hide. This is the landscape of weakness. There are many valleys and peaks in this self. And this self encompasses many secret thoughts and beliefs about who I am. This is the self sometimes I don't want to share with others. I want to keep my secret thoughts to myself. And sometimes this is the one that I have traversed many times, times in darkness and times of fear, through experiences of worthlessness and hopelessness. Yet, I have come to realize that this self guides me to the places of the truest teachings of learning and growth. Nearby lies the valley of self-doubt. And this valley is littered with huge boulders of fear, formed from anxiety about failing, held in place by the pebbles of uncertainty. The ground is dry, and nothing grows in this valley of self-doubt. But it is littered with weeds of limitation and lack. Yet I know that this valley is a place where I can plant the seed of possibility in my life. And sometimes there's anger in this valley of self-doubt. It is heated by the unrelenting sun of self-hatred and resentment. And the winds create sandstorms of jealousy, meanness, and envy. But these are the places in this landscape that cannot be seen by the viewer. They are the underground caverns of not good enough and not worthy of good. And these caverns and caves, they sometimes extend into my life. And it is on this foundation I have stood most of my life until today. Think of those moments when you have felt not good enough. There was self-doubt, there was self-judgment, there was anger and jealousy. But yet at a moment, we could change it. We could find forgiveness. We can find love, self-acceptance, and know the truth. There is, however, a third realm in the landscape of self. It's not new, but it is a place I'm just beginning to know and accept. The third landscape is a beautiful, inspiring scenery, scenes of dreams and aspirations. Feels new to me because I have wallowed in the swamp of self-deception for so long. And I visited that cave of not good enough too often. So often, in fact, that I lost sight of my right to dream dreams and aspire to the goals that I have created for myself. But now, I stand boldly in this new land, dreaming joy-filled dreams and devoted to the realization. I now see lush, sunlit hillside terraces of hope, sandy white beaches of confidence, floral gardens of self-love, and mountains of faith in my ability to have it all. In this new place, I can dream. Feel that feeling of joy that bubbles up in this effervescent feeling that you can dream, that you can be. I am singing and dancing with delight, visiting breathtaking sights of peace as I walk on the abundantly wealthy earth, talking to God in the silence. I now see myself learning new things, teaching new things, creating objects of beauty, loving others, and being loved passionately. Most of all, I see myself in a landscape of happiness, just as I am, and as I become, I am. This is a new experience for me. In this landscape of dreams, there is the horizon of aspiration. And the aspirations are becoming clear in this new third self. It is the landscape of love, self-love. I see myself as a teacher, not of the former self, but of a new, true self. I am a teacher willing to support others in their quest to connect with God. And as I learn and teach myself, I will share with others. I will teach the process that is written in the curriculum guide of the heart, as I have learned it by walking through the desert, through the swamp, the cave, coming to a place of rest on the beach of devotion in the gardens of dreams. I stay here for a moment, just absorbing this sense of peacefulness within myself, because peace is where I am, and I feel joyful that I have come home to my true self in this third landscape of love. Isn't it amazing that we go to so many dark places to find the light that we've always had? I ran from myself only to find myself through seeking to help others. I see myself with more clarity now, and I am devoted to use what God gave me in order to achieve what I desire and offer myself to the greater good of the planet. To this, I am devoted. Breathing into this moment, I realize my true self, and I am excited to be that teacher, to be filled with joy and love, to be devoted, to have a purpose, and to realize who I am through all the trials and the tribulations, the challenges, the doubts. I reside now in that landscape of love, self-love, beauty, grace, and peace. And so it is. Taking a breath in and relaxing and opening your eyes. Thank you for being here. And this concludes the meditation service. Thank you for being with the spiritual practice, and our celebration service will begin at 10. Thank you.
This week's talk is about lifting others' vibrational energy with your love. When you lift others' vibrational energy with your love, it allows you to grow. It'll keep you in life's most wondrous flow. And believe me, this is something I definitely know. Love.
Keeping it real, keeping it real, keeping it real, keeping it real, keeping it real with Reverend Laura. Keeping it real, keeping it real, keeping it real, keeping it real, keeping it real with Reverend Laura.
This is Center for Spiritual Living, Greater Las Vegas. At CSL Greater Las Vegas, it is our mission to inspire spiritual discovery through community connection, exploration, and celebration. This mission supports the all-inclusive vision of Centers for Spiritual Living worldwide, in which we envision a world that works for everyone and all of creation.
Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to Center for Spiritual Living, Greater Las Vegas. I'm Reverend Laura, and it is my pleasure to be the senior minister here. Along with Justin Vogel, we are here to give you a wonderful Sunday service. So I see lots of new faces here. This is so exciting to see so many new people showing up, and people that I haven't seen in a long time back visiting with us again. It's such a great honor to have you all here. I also want to say hi to everybody that's online. If you would, turn around and wave at the camera. Let them know that we appreciate them being here with us. We have a very vibrant and robust online audience, and so we're so excited that we can share our message in so many different ways. It's so wonderful to see so many people in the back and here in the chairs. There is a whole row up here in front, though, that's totally empty. If anybody would like to come up and sit here, you are totally welcome to do that. We will not make you do anything. So if you want to join us up here, that's great. We're going to kick off our morning here with our opening song. And so I'm going to turn it over to Justin. This is a new song
Thank you, Reverend
from one of
Laura.
our favorite artists, Melissa Felipe.
Yes, this is called Brand New Life. So good morning, everybody. Happy Easter. I'm creating a brand new life, living as a brand new me. Every day is a new beginning, another opportunity. Now I step out, living fully on one day at a time. Look out, world, here I come. It's a brand new life. I'm creating a brand new life, living as a brand new me. Every day is a new beginning, another opportunity. Now I step out, living full on one day at a time. Look out, world. here I come. It's a brand new life. I'm creating a brand new life, living as a brand new me. Every day is a new beginning, another opportunity. Now I step out, living full on, one day at a time. Look out world, here I come. It's a brand new life. Look out world, here I come. It's a brand new life.
If you feel comfortable, please greet your neighbor.
Isn't it great to be able to be around people and give them a hug? I just tell you, I have missed that in the last 3 years. All right, I want to take a moment and introduce our practitioners of the day. We have Judy Petit and Shirley Shutt, who are sitting high watch for us today. Shirley is one of our practitioner emerituses. That means they've been a practitioner for more than 20 years. And I think in Shirley's case, it's probably more than 30. Is it more than 30? Yeah, Shirley. And our practitioner of the day is Debbie Little, and she's going to come up here and give us an invocation to set the tone for our time together. Debbie?
Good morning and welcome, everybody. It's so nice to see your faces for this happy Easter day. So, and I want to acknowledge the online viewers. Thank you for being here and watching this service. I'm going to say the affirmation and have you repeat it after me. The affirmation for today is, my heart is filled with compassion and love. My heart is filled with compassion and love. So we just take just a moment of silence just to prepare ourselves for the invocation. Just breathing into this moment. As the sun rises in the east, it is the dawn of a new day, the beginning of this season. There's warmth, there's love, there's peace, as we come together as this community of one, the one voice, the one verse, the one word. We come together as individuals, but yet we all have that creative spark, that vibration, that energy of life. And this day is a new beginning, where we come together to celebrate this service, this Easter season. It is a new beginning, a new life, because each moment, each day is a day that we can begin again. Be present in that moment, to enjoy it, to let go of the past. Do not seek the future, but just be present in this moment. So as this service progresses, we know that the presence of God is within each one of us. And we come together with the warmth of a hug, a smile, renewing friendships, seeing faces that we haven't seen in a while. It is that energy, that pulse of life that pushes us forth in this moment of love. So we listen to the message, the Spirit speaking through Reverend Laura, of the music, the melody, the beauty of this day, as we celebrate this time together as a community. And so it is.
In this moment, in this place, I remember who I am, letting fear and worry fall away from me. I open my eyes and see there is only there is only love, love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. When I lose myself, when it seems I've lost my way, when I go inside and I quiet my mind, I can hear Spirit gently say, there is only love, there is only love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. There is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. There is only love. There is only love.
as you've heard many people say already, Happy Easter. This also happens to be one of the few times, in fact, it only happens every 33 years, that the other two Abrahamic religions also have their high holy day. So, happy Passover for those of you that practice that, and Ramadan Kareem for those of you that might be of the Islam faith. We are glad to have you all here with us. We get our roots and our philosophy from those three Abrahamic traditions, along with lots of other wonderful mystics throughout the ages. Our founder, Ernest Holmes, was a master at studying and synthesizing materials and finding those golden threads of truth that he called them and bringing those forth as he built the philosophy that we practice here at Centers for Spiritual Living. And so we are so happy to have you here with us. Whatever religion that brought you to us, whether you've had one or not, we are glad to have you here with us, and we honor you just the way you are for being here. This year, actually, we're working on a theme called Building a Community. As many of you have heard, we are in the process of actually building a building for our community right now on East Russell Road. And so we are excited to see what unfolds through that. And so as it seemed to be so perfect to align our theme for the year of building community, bringing our community back together in a greater way, we decided that would be perfect to go along with our building of a physical space too. So each month we have a different theme for the month, and this month, as you might have guessed, is love. So love is what we're talking about this month, and today's title, my talk title, is The Greatest Love. And so as we get ready to move into this time of sharing and so forth, I want you to bring forth that sense of love within yourself right now. Just take a moment and just see if you can tap into a feeling of love that you might have had at any point during this week, this month, this year, or at any time during your life. Just tap into that and feel that love. And just feel how palpable it is within you. And so as I said, most of the Christian world right now is celebrating Easter. The Orthodox Christianity celebrates it next weekend. And so I can't say all of Christianity, but most of it is celebrating this weekend. And I'd like to take a look at this idea of the Easter service, the Easter day, Easter events, from the way our founder would have done it, through a metaphysical point of view. So metaphysics is a branch of philosophy that looks at existence, at being, at cause and effect, at reality, and how all of this comes into play in our lives. It is the science of transcending things that are physical or natural and taking them into a more esoteric point of view. And so I want to look at Easter from that point of view. I think one of the most frequently quoted passages in the New Testament comes from the book of John, John 3:16. If it's not the most quoted, it's certainly the most one that you see on the back of cars, more often than any other quote. And sometimes it's just the numbers, John 3:16. So depending on the version of the Bible that you're reading, John 3:16 says something like this: "For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, so that whoever believeth in him shall have life everlasting and not perish." And so this is kind of the essence of who and what Jesus was this being that came from Spirit, that Spirit so loved, he brought it forth into existence and allowed it to become the being that we knew as Jesus of Nazareth. But let's take a moment and step back. As I said, that came from the New Testament. The New Testament is a collection of books that were chosen to represent the ideas of Christianity by a group of people in the 3rd century. And they decided that of the 12 apostles, all of whom had books written after them, only 4 of them were worth going into the new Bible. So we start off the New Testament with Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Those were 4 of the disciples of Jesus of Nazareth. So the first book of John, of the New Testament, the book of Matthew, was written somewhere around 20 years after the death of Jesus. It was not written by the man named Matthew. It was written by his followers. And what it was a written account of the oral stories. How many of you have ever played that telephone game? Where you say a sentence to one person and they say it to the next person, and then it goes all the way down the line, and then at the end of it, somebody repeats the sentence back and we all laugh at how it changed. So, were these actual, factual sayings of the man we know as Jesus? I don't know, I wasn't there. The book of Mark, Luke, and John were written sometime between 70 CE and 100 CE. So 40 to 60 years after, 40 to 70 years after the death of Jesus. And again, they are not written by the people they are named after. They are written by their followers. Recorded versions of the stories. So the Jews of first century spoke a language called Aramaic. But scholars and people who could write in the first century wrote in Greek. So we have stories told in Aramaic, written down in Greek. Probably a little translation issues there. Then, as the centuries progressed, those stories, those books, were rewritten because there weren't printing presses, there weren't anything else. People had to write them by hand. And so from the Greek, they moved into being recorded in Latin. Again, translation issues going on there. When we think of the word love, just the word love that we're talking about this month, in Greek there are 8 different words for love. And so you can imagine how that can get convoluted as you're translating from one language to another. And then, of course, in the middle of the 14th century, Johann Gutenberg invented his printing press, and he started printing them out to where other people could read them. And he printed in Latin. And eventually it was translated into Old English and other languages as it moved forth. All of that is to say, what's written in the New Testament may or may not be accurate. But that's not what's important. It's what it means for each one of us. It's what we get out of the message that's important here. It's not the literal translation of it. It's not the fact that it was written and rewritten and rewritten and rewritten. It's what it is when it comes alive inside of us. And I'll speak a little bit more about that in a minute. I also want to remind you that there were other books written by the other disciples too. In 1945, in a town outside of Egypt, Nakamati, Egypt, in a cave, a man found a barrel, a ceramic barrel, full of manuscripts. And they have become known as the Gnostic Gospels. And there we have books from Thomas, Peter, Simon, James, Thaddeus, and, shockingly enough, Mary Magdalene. These books were deemed not appropriate for the Bible by the people who were putting the Bible together. In fact, they were so inappropriate that there was an order to destroy them all. And somehow somebody took these books and hid them away in a cave in Egypt for 1,600 years until they could be unearthed and brought forth. So, again, as I said, are these all the literal words of the man that we knew as Jesus of Nazareth? We don't know. But each one of them has a meaning for us as it comes alive inside of us. Our task now, and has always been, is to not take it literally, but to find meaning and inspiration in the words as we contemplate them, the words as we take them into our soul, and to look for that truth that is revealed to us through us. This is the example that Jesus brought forth, was taking in the message and letting it become alive inside of us. So in the book of John, it begins with the phrase, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, and the Word was with God." And then a few lines later it said, "And the Word became flesh." I think this is a key statement of Jesus' ministry, is that we have this word, this idea, this truth, this perfect emanation of that thought, and we allow it to become flesh within us. We allow it to become alive within us. The truth has always been the truth. And as we take that truth into contemplation and it actually begins to grow in us, then we get that feeling that I say, and I say this a lot, is we know what we know and we can never unknow it. When the truth has come alive inside of us, there is nothing that can happen to make us not think that that is the truth. So what is that truth? That universal, all-pervasive truth that we can never unknow? Well, that truth is that we're part of the greatest love story ever told. Ever written, ever conceived of, ever brought forth. We, each one of us individually, is an integral part of that divine love story. Our founder, Ernest Holmes, puts it this way. God, the divine creator, never had but one child. This child is being born at every season, in every place, through all races and in all nations. Every birth is a divine event. Every conception, immaculate. Every child who is born into the world represents the child of the eternal parent. We spend too much time looking at these events around things like the Easter story and trying to make them real, trying to make them factual, trying to find the history of them. I think it's part of our analytical mind that likes to figure things out and put things in order and get everything right. But we spend so much time on that, and it has caused so many problems in our world by trying to focus on those factual events as opposed to what is here for me to know, what is here for me to bring alive inside of me. We forget that all of the great teachers, all of them, teachers like Jesus, Buddha, Muhammad, Rumi, they didn't teach in factual events. They taught in metaphors, in parables, in stories. They tried to take these high and holy concepts and bring them into real life for people. And they tried to bring them alive inside of them through the stories that they told. I love to study the work of Joel Goldsmith, and in his book, The Contemplative Life, he says it this way. A spiritual teaching penetrates beneath every human symbol of its spiritual meaning. What is plainly set forth for all to read in the scriptures of all people of the world are exoteric teachings, outer teachings. But each one of these has an esoteric, an inner meaning. That is to say, the outer teachings all have inner or hidden meanings. So, what's the meaning of Easter? The horrors of the Passion, the crucifixion, the resurrection. What is there for us to know? Why did this man we call Jesus have to go through this horrific pain and betrayal to get his message out into the world? Well, again, I think we need to go back to the book of John. Right before he says, God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, John is telling the story of Jesus' encounter with a man named Nicodemus. Now, Nicodemus was a Pharisee. That meant he was one of the rulers of Jerusalem at the time. He was one of the most educated, most respected, most sought after for his advice. You didn't get much more learned than people like Nicodemus. And Jesus is telling him that you need to be born again. And so what does Nicodemus do? He goes right to the literal meaning of that. What, do I have to crawl back in my mother's womb and be born again? How can that be possible? And Jesus says, you are not born of the flesh, but you're born of the Spirit. You need to be reborn of the Spirit through the water. He's talking about baptism at the time. But this is what Jesus says to Nicodemus. He says, you are Israel's teacher, and you do not understand these things. We speak of what we know. We testify to what we have seen, But still, you people do not accept our testimony. I speak to you of earthly things and you do not understand. Then how will you ever believe if I speak of heavenly things? I think this was the pivotal point in Jesus' ministry. I think this was the point in which he realized to what extent he had to go to get his message out. That the only way that it was going to be possible for the people to understand what he was talking about being reborn spiritually, was for him to die physically and then be resurrected afterwards. You know, all of these metaphors that are used in the New Testament were also used to connect to the teachings of the Old Testament and to the other historical text of the time of the Jews of the first century. They had lots of metaphors and lots of historical wisdom and mysticism that was built into all of their teachings. And so Jesus' stories were meant to connect all of that together. And so he needed to find a way to connect this idea of being born again into something that the people of the time could understand. So he was all about creating enlightenment. And enlightenment is the central metaphor for salvation, to be free of any of the earthly binds. To be born again is an enlightenment experience. And so how could Jesus show the profound nature of that experience without actually dying? In his book, Reading the Bible Again for the First Time, author Mark Sporg says this: the way or the path of Jesus is the path of death and resurrection, understood as a metaphor for a religious life. That way, the path of dying to an old way of being and being born into a new way of being is the only way to God. Many of us, as we come into a center like this, as we begin to study, as we begin to practice the spiritual practices that we have, as we begin to embody the principles, our lives begin to change. Is there anybody in here that life didn't change for them? I'm just curious. Mine was like, it was certainly much more than a 180-degree turn for me. What happens is we begin to find that our habits that we've had, we no longer want to engage in those. Oftentimes our addictions fall away. We can just no longer be the way that we were. Along with that, we often find that our family doesn't fit with us anymore. Our family of origin, especially. We find that friends fall away. Our life is restructured as we come into a spiritual teaching. As we begin to understand and embody these principles, we become changed. We are born again. And I believe that this is the message of the Easter story, is that by embodying these spiritual principles, embodying these ideas, by actually taking them into us and letting them come alive inside of us, we are born again. We can't go back to a life before. The idea of it is just abhorrent for most of us. Going back to the way we used to be, the way we used to think. That life has died. And we've been reborn in this idea of spiritual truth, of the oneness that we embody. So as I say every week, these ideas and these principles are wonderful, but they're no good if we don't put them into practice. So let's do a little practice right now. This practice comes from Joel Goldsmith. It's called contemplative meditation. And in there we take a passage. Now we could take a passage from any spiritual scripture that we wanted to take. We could take a passage that's just a profound quote that we've read somewhere. It doesn't matter what it is. It's just that we want to take some time and spend with it. So for the sake of ease, let's take one of my favorite passages from the Bible, because, it's all about me. So, just saying. You may be familiar with this one. It comes from Proverbs. Be still and know. It goes on to say, be still and know that I am God. But I like to just be still and know. So if you would with me, just taking a deep breath. And you can close your eyes if you'd like. You're safe in your chair. Nobody's going to come up and grab you from behind. By closing my eyes, I kind of center myself a little bit better by connecting with my breath. I connect with my body. Just breathe in a couple of times. And now I want you to repeat that phrase in your mind. You don't have to say it aloud, just in your mind. Be still and know. Be still and know. Be still and know. And now let's break it into two short phrases. Be still, and then and know. So let's just start with be still. Say that in your mind. And then ask yourself the question, what does it mean to be still? If your mind starts to wander, just say again, be still. Be still. Move to the second part of the phrase, and know. Know what? What does that mean? And know. And know. Be still and know. And now let's break it into each of the four words. Doing the same process. The word be. Be what? What does that mean? Still. What does still mean? And. And finally, the word know. What does it mean to know? Be still and know. So just taking another deep breath. Notice the chair around you, the chair beneath you, people around you, movement of the air. When you're ready, just go ahead and open your eyes. We can take any spiritual truth and do this process with it. But it's not a matter of doing it once. It needs to come alive in us, and that takes time. Joel Goldsmith took that phrase, be still and know, and worked with it for an entire year, every day, until it came alive inside of him. That's where spiritual truth is revealed. That's when we know that we know, and we can never unknow it. When it comes alive inside of us. Let me leave you with one more quote from our founder, Ernest Holmes. It says, we believe in Jesus, and we believe in Buddha too. We believe in Socrates and Mohammed. We believe in every way shower. And more than anything else, we believe in our own soul. The only immediate testimony you and I will ever have that we exist, or that God exists, or that we have been shown a way is through our own soul. We believe in our own soul. And we believe in every way shower. And because of this, it's my favorite line, and because of this, we are one of the first denominations to be free of superstition, damnation, dualism, and dogma. Yay! We say no to those things. All right, let's take this into prayer. I'm going to invite our practitioners to stand and surround us. Our practitioners spend at least 4 years studying spiritual truth, studying the works of these wonderful people, allowing the Word to come alive in them, and them to come alive in the Word. And so we're going to go into our affirmative prayer. This is a unique form of prayer that is not often taught in most faiths. We have 5 steps. In the first step, we recognize the presence of that universal love intelligence, that creator. In the second stage, we align ourselves with it. In the third stage, we speak words of truth, affirmations. In the fourth stage, we give thanks. And then because of all of that, we just simply let it go. So if you would with me, turn within. And again, I just do this by taking a breath and connecting with my body, closing my eyes and centering myself. And so right here and right now, I know that there is only one thing happening, and that is the action and the activity of the divine. I know that that one loving, creative intelligence has brought forth everything into existence. I know that it is the isness and the allness and the fullness of all life, now and forevermore. I know that nothing exists outside of this one, this creative love intelligence that so loved it needed to express itself through its creation. And I know that I am one with that creator. That infinite intelligence is living through me right here and right now. And because I know this is true for me, I know this is true for everyone. That each one of us is a perfect and unique emanation of that divine creative love intelligence. Each one of us has been brought forth to fulfill a specific need, purpose, and desire of that Creator. And we are doing so beautifully. And so knowing this truth, I speak my word. I know that right here and right now, there is a divine flow of unconditional love moving through each and every one of us. It is showing up through us in all that we are and all that we do. It shows up in the connections we have with other people. It shows up in the work that we do in this world. It shows up in the care that we give to our family and our friends and our four-legged companions. It shows up in every aspect of our being. Because love is the nature of who we are. It's why we were created. It's what we are here to do. And how good it is to know this. How good it is to see it in action right here and right now in this community, in this town, in this world. Knowing that that divine flow of love is manifesting itself in, through, and as all of creation gives us a great deal of hope for the future of all mankind. And so I just simply give thanks for this knowing. I'm so grateful to feel it. I'm so grateful to see it operating. I'm so grateful to know that this is the truth. And I release this word into the law, the creative mind of spirit that always says yes. I let it go and I let it be. And together we say, and so it is. Amen. So now is that time in our service when we share our offerings. We have several different ways that you can do this. We have our website where you can go online and give. We have a text-to-give number. And we have now a new Zelle, for those of you that like to Zelle. And we are grateful to receive your donations here today. And so if you would, just hold it up against your heart. If you've given online or texted or Zelled or any of those things, just put your hand over your heart. And repeat after me. This gift I give goes forth from me. Does amazing and miraculous things. And returns to me in kind. Pressed down and overflowing. And so it is. Justin has a wonderful song for us.
Come to earth. Do you remember why have you taken birth? Oh, why have you come to love? To serve and remember, to love, to serve and remember. Come to earth. Do you remember why have you taken birth? Why have you come to Serve and remember to love. Serve and remember.
Just a couple of announcements before we finish up here. Beautiful flowers, today sponsored by the Marshall family. Thank you very much, Marshalls. You are amazing. We have these wonderful bouquets here with us. And if you happen to notice, you maybe even smell the flowers around the room. We are having a fundraiser today for our youth, our teen group. I think the flowers range from about $10 to on up. All different kinds of bouquets. I was gifted with a lovely bouquet myself this morning, so it was lovely. Please support our teens. Our resident floral designer, Kaylee Marshall, has worked all week long putting these flowers together for you. So they're in the back of the room there. And we have all kinds of ways of paying for it, too. So if you didn't bring cash with you today, they're happy to accept that with a debit card or a credit card. So thank you so much. We have some new online classes starting. We have 2 brand new classes. One of them is called, I love this one, Are You Ready to Rumble? Cultivate Your Positive Inner Dialogue. This is with practitioner Leslie McKinnon. It's an online class to help you clarify the words that you use as you are writing affirmations and spiritual mind treatment, and help you check into your inner dialogue and see if your inner dialogue is matching your outer experience. So it's a wonderful class. She's worked really hard on that one. I'm thrilled to see it happening. And then the second class that we are offering starts on Monday. Leslie's class starts on May 11th on Thursdays, runs for 5 weeks, and it's $125 for that. All the information's on our website about it. The other class is one that I've created. It's called Pathway to Mindfulness. And it's I'm spending the whole month of May on mindfulness here. So our theme for the month is peace, and so there's not a better way to get peace in your life than through mindful practices. So I've offered this class, created this class on mindfulness. It's 3 weeks, $75. It's online experience. It's 2.5 hours from 6 to 8:30 on Monday nights. So check out that on the website too. It's part of a series of classes for meditation is more than you think. And so all of the information's there. We also have back on the back table our new education brochures, which talk about all of our certificated classes that are being offered this year and next year. So make sure you check that out. In addition to the mindfulness class, I will be doing the Wednesday night services in May on mindfulness too. And so you'll have an opportunity to experience some different forms of mindfulness meditation on our Wednesday night services. These are online only. And in addition to that, I've been given a great opportunity to speak at one of our public libraries, the Centennial Hills Library. So on Wednesday nights in May, I will be doing a whole series on mindfulness. Mindfulness, it's an introduction to mindfulness. Mindfulness for stress, mindfulness for pain relief, mindfulness for eating and exercising, mindfulness for self-compassion. I think those are the 5. There's a flyer on the desk, on the table back there still, if you're interested in that. And also, again, that information's on our website. Let's see. This month in our Wednesday night services, we are so blessed to have our wonderful Penelope Pendragon here, otherwise known as Valerie Petit, doing a whole series on love. It's phenomenal. I watched the first one this past Wednesday. What a great experience. Lighthearted, wonderful look at how we can move through some of the issues in our lives that stop us from feeling love more and more. So take a chance and go on and watch our Wednesday night services. They're really phenomenal as well. Let's see. We need help cleaning up afterwards, so if you can, stay and help us put the tables back together. The community center here is having an event right at noon, so we need to make sure that we leave it looking nice and clean and all of that jazz. All right, I'm going to do the benediction first.
Okay.
You want to do something?
No.
Okay, that's what you want to know. I will do the benediction, then we'll do the song. We have it backwards on our order of service. See, one mind here. Would you stand, please? If you're comfortable, if you can't, that's okay too. Would you repeat after me? Something wonderful is happening to me right now.
Something wonderful is happening to me right now.
It is this thing called love.
It is this thing called love.
Love is in my mind.
Love is in my mind.
Love is in my heart.
Love is in my heart.
Love is in all that I do.
Love is in all that I do.
I am it.
I am it.
I share it.
I share it.
And I'm becoming more of it.
And I'm becoming more of it.
Thank you, love.
Thank you, love.
All right, now we're going to sing one of our favorites we haven't sung in a while. So
Yes, use me. I'm sure you all know this.
sing along with.
Use me, oh God, I stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. Use me, oh God, I stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do.
All right, one more time.
Use me, oh God, I stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. Show me all that I must do. Show me all that I must do. Show me all that I must do.
Beautiful. Have a wonderful week, everyone. We'll see you here next week. Bye-bye. Oh, prayer. If you would like prayer, we have practitioners waiting to receive your prayer request. Thank you, Judy. It's on my paper, and I even forgot it.
If this life is one act, why do